welcome to NSL Soccer presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. Tonight, it's a rematch of the first game in NSL history. April 16th, the Vancouver Rise defeated the Calgary Wild 1-0 at BC Place. Now, at their permanent home at Swangard Stadium, this familiar foe comes back to town to pay another visit and try and avenge that season-opening loss. I'm Signa Butler on Play-by-Play tonight, joined by analyst and former Canadian Youth International Jess Lisi, and Vancouver coming off that hard-fought 2-1 come-from-behind win against Halifax, and this player stood out for you.
Yeah, she was a big impact player. I thought Longhurst was awesome on both sides of the ball. She brought a lot of intensity. She was breaking lines. She was crashing the box, but she was also doing the work that needed to be done defensively for her side. She definitely stepped up.
So Josie Longhurst, one to watch tonight. Let's turn our attention to Calgary, where there's a veteran and a native of British Columbia, Jackie Savitsky.
Yeah, she's a very experienced player, high IQ, but she was also such a big bright spot for them in the Montreal game. She was able to consistently put herself in spaces to be an outlet for the center backs, but also to help build up from the back for her team. She was definitely a great player for them in that last match, and I'm excited to see what she brings to this side today.
Coach Lydia Bedford very impressed by Savitsky and Maggie Doherty-Howard in the midfield. This season, as we look at the celebrations ahead of the game today in Burnaby, BC, the standings very close as they have been throughout the season. But you look at three teams tied with 10 points, Vancouver Rise among them. But anything can happen. I mean, AFC Toronto was down near the basement just a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and I think that shows, the quality of the league and the quality of the players. You don't know who's going to be at the top. It switches from week to week, and I think that's good. That's what keeps it intense, and that's what keeps it competitive.
Well, round two between the Vancouver Rise FC and Calgary Wild FC coming up just ahead, as well as the starting 11s. You're watching the NSL on CBC Gem. Welcome back to the NSL on CBC Gem from Swangard Stadium. Vancouver Rise getting set to host Calgary Wild FC for the second time this season, our first rematch as we enter week 6 of play. Let's take a look at the starting lineups for tonight's match, starting with the Vancouver Rise, the home side. And Vancouver, coming off that 2-1 win against Halifax, two key cogs in their midfield, Quinn and Nikki Stanton still missing, but there have been impressive performances for them.
Yeah, I think that's a massive void to fill, but I think Samantha Chang and Josie Longhurst have really stepped up. We've seen them be impressive on both sides of the ball. I also think that Lisa Pechersky had a great match last matchup. She was able to come alive in the final third, but she also made an impact defensively for them.
Well, we had a chance to catch up with Lisa Pechersky before the match, and here she is. I'm joined pitch side by Lisa Pechersky of the Vancouver Rise. Lisa, this is your fourth match in 2 weeks for the Rise. I mean, what have you learned about your team over this stretch of time?
Yeah, I think it's been good for us to really find our rhythm, score more goals than we have at the beginning, kind of build that chemistry. I think it's tough to play so many games in a short period of time, but also it's been good, like a lot of minutes together, building that chemistry again, and hopefully just building on all those performances going forward.
You had a great game, last one against Halifax. Your team is battling the injury bug as well with key players. How do you keep building as an individual to help fill that team void?
Yeah, obviously we're missing some players, but we have to be able to cope with that. I think everyone's adjusted in a really good way. We have some players who have really stepped up, and especially like young players who have really showed that they belong here, and I think we just need to continue to find a way to get those results no matter who's playing.
Thanks for this, Lisa. Enjoy the game today.
Thank you.
For the visiting Calgary Wild, one change from their 11 from their 1-0 win over Montreal. Collie Johnson comes back in for Christy Gray at left striker. Just another attacking threat for the team.
Yeah, I thought Sarita Thurton brought a lot of firepower to that right side. She was causing Montreal a lot of issues getting the ball in the box. She is a very brave attacker, but I also think, between Doherty, Howard, Savitsky, and Robertson, they were able to control the dynamic of the game and really be leaders in the middle of the park to keep their team connected. Robertson even being the one to score that goal that led to a victory.
And we had a chance to catch up with Janaea Robertson. Calgary Wild midfielder Janaea Robertson joins us pitch side. Janaea, first, congrats on having one of the NSL's goals of the week. What do you need to do to keep earning meaningful minutes with the Wild?
Yeah, I think it's just sticking to what you're best at and working hard every day in training and performing in games when you get the opportunities. So, yeah, I don't think you got to stray off your path at all and just keep working. So.
Vancouver edged you in your inaugural meeting of the season, but as a BC kid playing for Calgary, is there a little bit more incentive playing in your own backyard?
Yeah, I think for sure you could say that. It's an honor being able to play in technically my own backyard, and we know we didn't have our best performance versus Vancouver in the first game, but today there's definitely a little bit of redemption, and we're really excited for this opportunity.
Thanks for this, Janaea, and good luck today.
Thank you.
We're ready for kickoff at Swangard Stadium in Burnaby, BC. A gorgeous 20-degree night. Calgary will kick off looking for revenge after that opening season historical loss in NSL history, 1-0 to Vancouver. Quinn, the goal scorer in that game, by a penalty kick. So we'll see what happens in the run of play tonight. Michaela Moore kicking deep into the Vancouver end to kick off this match. Doherty Howard gaining control to Savitsky, playing in front of friends and family, the Coquitlam, BC native. And Jess, we were talking to both coaches ahead of this week's matchup, and Lydia Bedford, her team coming off, of course, the first win over Montreal this season. Of course, they've faced each other four more times, but she was quite pleased with their performance in that match.
Yeah, and I think, rightfully so. They were very organized. You saw them have that front-footed mentality from the first minute, and that was something that they lacked previously in their game against Ottawa. There was a bit of a lackadaisical, half-hearted attempt to go into tackles, and that was not the case against Montreal. They came out from the first minute front-footed. They were able to capitalize on their opportunity. There was a lot more, though, so I would love to see them, still continue to create the opportunities they've been creating, but be a little bit more clinical in that final touch to get the ball on goal, because Thurton was putting ball after ball into the box. So just about getting those runners in the box that can hit the back of the net.
Enya Heiner-Moller, the coach of the Vancouver Rise, her team has been on quite the stretch. It's their fourth match in 2 weeks. They've had some injury problems. They've had to deploy some youth development players in their lineup just to account for some of those injuries. But they're coming off a come-from-behind win against Halifax the other night at home, so had to show some resiliency.
Yeah, it was definitely a very resilient win. They were able to get those 2 goals before half. Halifax was very much dominating the beginning of that first half, so to see them be able to get the 2 goals and then hold on to that and really dominate in that second half. They didn't give the Tides very much time and space on the ball in the second half. They were shutting down all of their great opportunities, so I think that shows the resilience and the quality that these players of Vancouver have. So I think today we're in for a very intense and an intense match with a lot of heart left on this pitch.
Johnson trying to keep the ball alive along the touch line. There is Lydia Bedford. Must be pleased with her former team she was assistant coach with, Arsenal, who won the UEFA Women's Champions League today. 1-0 over Barcelona. Johnson going one-on-one against Jalen Wright. Calgary winning the throw. Steer trying to flick on. Johnson on it again. But here comes Peczerski. Choosing to turn and play back. And Chang will go all the way back to McCaslin.
That was a great decision by Peczerski. As much as you would love your team to continue bombing forward, she was able to have a look. She saw that everyone was very much behind the play. She was left up there alone. Calgary had numbers. There just wasn't much she would be able to create.
And here comes Peczerski in the box, looking for that left-footed shot. Took a deflection and out for an early corner kick for the Rise.
We're already seeing early on the threat that Lisa Peczerski can bring to this side. She's a very smart player. She's very technical and creative. She says, you know what, I'm going to try it. I'm going to take her on 1v1. She goes to strike that. Doherty Howard does well to double up and get that deflection, because had she not, that could have definitely been on goal.
Chang on the corner. In swinging, and Bukovic, sure hands, comes up and grabs that ball.
Well up by Bukovic. That's exactly what you want from your keepers in those moments, to be able to demand that ball and really dominate in their 6-yard box.
Johnson moving forward to Robertson. And Doherty Howard popping it over top. Taken off the chest was Danielle Steer, but offside, the call. One of the things Lydia Bedford told us earlier this week was that she was really pleased with the attack on the right side of the pitch for Calgary, but was looking for a little bit more from the left, and you're seeing it early on with Kylie Johnson.
Yeah, she's really lighting up that left side already. She's going at people. She's not afraid to, and we're also seeing that switch ball. That was a great ball across. Steer just wasn't able to hold her run, but that is what you need to see from this Calgary side, having that balance of playing on both flanks, because both Johnson and Thurton are absolute threats when they're running at you.
Peczerski turning inside.
Another fun battle, Signa, that I'm looking forward to is that 1v1 battle between Storty and Ward that we saw a little bit of in that first match. I think, this is a redemption time for Storty. We saw Ward sort of get the best of her, and she really lit up in that game. So I'm excited to see that, because they're both very great players. They both love to go at people 1v1, and I think that it's going to be a really intense battle.
Micah Rolfsma looking forward, read by Weller. And out for a Calgary throw. There's Allie Green, recently called back into the New Zealand camp for their upcoming friendlies. Both Green and Michaela Moore. Ball switched nicely by Savitsky. Storty to Thurton. Thurton's first touches. This will be a nice battle to watch against Spencer. Thurton going low to the touchline. Spencer knocks it out, and out for a corner kick.
One thing Sarita Thurton does really well is she is very brave in that attempt. She's very raw is the word that Lydia Bedford used when speaking about her. She's going to drive end line time and time again, and if she's not able to get the ball in the box, she's going to draw a foul or she's going to win a corner kick. So this is just a perfect example of the threat that she is as a forward on that right flank.
We're used to seeing Michaela Moore in the box. Takes the short corner. Ball popped in. And goes out for a goal kick. There's Shania Robertson. Fresh off that game-winning goal.
Lisa, when we're in the area, we close. We need to get closer on to what
85th minute against Montreal. It was a real screamer, one of the NSL's goals of the week.
She's also been a big presence for them in the box. You saw her attempt to get up there. I think against Montreal, there was quite a few times as well on corner kicks, on set pieces as a whole, that she was getting up to attempt to redirect it towards goal. So she's definitely been stepping up for them in that midfield. I think that she has a lot to be proud of.
Robertson trying to thread the ball through. Haslam will come off her line and play over the back. Playing center back alongside Shannon Weller is Chloe Taylor tonight. Second straight game for the youth development contract, part of the Rise Academy.
I think both her and Wong didn't look out of place in the last matchup. Taylor actually contributed to that goal, Pechersky's first goal. She was able to send a nice ball in to Ward, who was able to flick it on to a running Pechersky. But I think that, you know, both those players, these are big moments for them, and they've done very well to step into it and seamlessly at that.
Cross from Steer, a little long.
Pechersky doing well to come back and double that. Johnson is not an easy player to be up against, so definitely great on Pechersky's part to apply that back pressure to her.
Green looking for Johnson. Johnson gets a turn in. Tried to find Robertson, but cleared away from by Longhurst.
inside, G. Good, ready to do 2 jobs, please.
Wong was looking for Mariah Lee. Vancouver will go all the way back. Taylor and Weller providing the anchor back there today. Moore reads that. And our first 1v1 battle between Holly Ward and Grace Storty. Ward getting by, getting the touch back, and Mariah Lee buries one. Hard work from Holly Ward, and Mariah Lee converts. Second straight game by Lee with a goal.
Wow, Signa, we just pointed out wanting to see this battle and how much Holly Ward really lit up that left side the last time these two teams met. That was just a great individual effort by her. And great on Mariah Lee to find herself in a space where she's able to get that cut back, and she makes no mistake by putting that in the back of the net.
So an early 11-minute goal from the home side, and you saw Maggie Doherty-Howard getting her team together, having a conversation. They wanted to come out on the front foot today, and it is instead the Rise.
Just another look at it. You see Holly Ward using her pace. She drives end line. She doesn't give up. Storty thinks she might have got the best of her there, but she's able to cut it back to Lee, who does such a great job to place that in the bottom right corner. Finds the space in the 18-yard box and does so well with it.
Well, it's the kind of start that Vancouver's coach Anya Heiner-Moller wanted. Return by Lee. Her team came out a little flat against Halifax, hemmed into their own end, so really wanted to reverse that this time around against Calgary, and so far so good.
Yeah, we've seen both these teams come out with that intensity and that front-footedness. They were both sides were stringing together a few passes, but they couldn't quite get anything dangerous off of them. And then you see Vancouver turn around and Holly Ward with a great individual effort to really turn it around for them as a whole. And this is where you see how Calgary is going to be able to bounce back. It's still very early in the game, so much game to play. And it's a matter of Vancouver being able to hold that intensity and hold that lead for this game, potentially get another one.
Well, especially when they're on their 4th match in 2 weeks. So we'll see how those legs hold up. There was a lot of cramping last match in that match against Halifax, between traveling games and just quick games in succession.
What's interesting is what Holly Ward just did is what Vancouver struggled with last match defensively. They were struggling to win those 1v1 battles and having Sydney Kennedy going at them quite a few times inside the 18, cutting that ball back. So I think that it's interesting that we're seeing that on the flip side today for that goal, but one thing that will be huge for Vancouver and one thing they have to focus on is that box defending, because that is where they can potentially get hurt, as Calgary is a very front-footed team and are hungry to get one.
Chang spraying the ball wide. Ward going one-on-one. Longhurst is there to help out. Vancouver will rebuild. Samantha Chang.
You're seeing how free Longhurst is. You're seeing Chang and Wong sort of interchange in that 6 and 8 role, whereas Longhurst gets higher and is able to break the line and live in those pockets to create issues and overloads for this Calgary side.
Right.
Yeah, good, Sammy. Sam, come on.
Moore with some space coming out of the back. We'll look over top. Right into the box to McCaslin.
Hey, face up.
Ward. The turn. Nice crowd on hand at Swangard Stadium. See this rematch between these two teams. We're at that point in week 6 where, you know, the first match of the season, they knew nothing about each other. And now a chance to look at film and to play each other a second time. Johnson turning, looking for the strike. Oh, and it's a beauty! 1-1, Collie Johnson wastes no time tying this match up.
We just spoke about how she's such a big threat for this Calgary side. For her to come in and do that, we've seen her score goals this season, so it's not something new. But to strike from distance, the confidence it takes, the technique it takes, this is so great. Nice little turn here, and makes no mistake. She places that in that bottom left corner, strikes it well. Just shows her quality as a player. Another look here, great strike, perfectly placed into that corner.
Well, Johnson, just 21 years of age, from Sydney, Australia. She was recently picked up her first call up to the senior Matildas side. She has been featuring at the under 20 level, played in 2 World Cups, of course, for Australia, but Lydia Bedford says she's just absolutely so proud of Johnson for getting that first call up to the senior team. And rewarded today with the start and with a goal.
She wears a certain confidence on her sleeve that you see from more so a veteran player. She is very young, a very talented player, but that confidence to be able to turn face forward and strike from there is exactly what you want from your forwards. It's not something you can teach necessarily. She just has that mentality to go at people. She's confident, she's raw in it, and I think that, yeah, she's a very talented and well-rounded forward.
Spencer moving forward. The turn by Longhurst, read by Moore, and back up the pitch. And under pressure is the youngster, Chloe Taylor. Doherty Howard. Thurton. The cross in. Head away, Paczerski's on it and ready to bomb up this right side. She's going. Longhurst, the touch heavy. Spencer moving forward, finding Ward. Will patiently play back to Spencer. Doherty winning the ball back. Oh, and it squeaks through. It's going to go out of touch, though.
It was a great win by Storty. She steps into that, she reads it, she reads Holly Ward's touch, she doesn't give her any time and space, and then to drive forward, that's one thing that she does so well. We're specifically seeing her go down that right side time and time again, but we're seeing her cut in there and able to get a ball across that does get through, but just is a little bit overhit, and Johnson's not able to get anything behind it.
Foul called by the referee today's match, Anne-Marie Canu. So 1-1, 20 minutes into this match at Swangard Stadium. Wolfsma. Green was waiting for it. Paczerski was hot on the ball. Longhurst is calling for it. The run is there, but Bukovic well off of her line.
See Paczerski again taking her time and space. She's looking up. She's looking for someone to make that run. Longhurst does a good job to break that line, but just a little too far from her on that. But I think one thing that this Vancouver side really needs to focus on as well is that fluidity and that movement up top amongst their front three. On the throw-in earlier, you see Lee drop back to get that. Paczerski sort of swings inside, and Longhurst gets a little higher, but no one really fills Lee's spot. We see them kick the ball away and not be able to get anything out of it. And throw-ins are one of those things that we've seen in this league has the ability to change the game. So I think that that's just one thing they have to be aware of, playing off of each other, the fluidity and the movements between that front three, as well as Longhurst, who we've seen getting very involved in high.
Set pieces aren't reserved for corners and free kicks anymore.
I was never great at throw-ins, like physically throwing them in. That was not my strong suit. And that sounds crazy because how hard can they be? But It is a quality. There is some
That's why you
quality
were a
behind
striker, Jess. You're just taking those throw-ins, doing something fancy with it.
Never asked me to throw a ball in.
Spencer, the touch just a little heavy and tackled by Storty, and here comes Thurton. McCaslin spills, and Vancouver had to clear that away, and McCaslin is shaken up. Back on her feet.
Again, Thurton showing her quality. She's not afraid to go at you, and she's always looking for that quality cross. She is able to find Johnson's foot, but McCaslin does well to not give her any time and space to get something off there. Luckily, Wong was there to clear that, because McCaslin was down for a minute. Had it landed at a Calgary player's foot, that could have ended very differently with the open net.
Way back, helping out. Right, trying to get the ball forward, out for a Calgary throw. So this left side seeing a lot more action tonight for Calgary. Wolfsma will try and switch this across to more looking deep and too long past the touchline. Michaela Moore also called in to the Kiwis, the Football Ferns.
I also think one thing to remember is we're seeing Thurton play up against a veteran Spencer who's very smart, very athletic. It's going to take more than a long ball over the top for her to beat her time and time again. It's going to take a little more than that, because we do know that Spencer's a great defender. She's also very front-footed, so I think those overloads on the flanks will be huge for Calgary in order to break down a player like Jasmine Spencer.
Ward trying to go by Storty. Storty reads that, not quite over yet. Weller opens up. Looking forward, the 35-year-old veteran, the captain of the Rise. Lee, the goal scorer Lee, out wide to Paczerski. Lots of action from Lisa Paczerski this game. Paczerski, the cross. Long and out, but very active. Lisa Paczerski early going in this match.
She's doing a lot for them on this right flank. She loves to go 1v1, as we've seen, and she does very well to beat defenders. It's just that final cross right now that's missing, a little bit overhit. I think that, the quality in that cross is going to be huge, and that's what's going to make the difference, whether you're going to find another goal like we saw their first goal right to Lee's feet, or if, it's going to go out of bounds as it did just there.
Holly Johnson's touch off. Vancouver will restart back to McCaslin. Weller to Taylor, under some pressure from Thurton. Match and one more match tomorrow, Ottawa and Montreal in week 6 of the Northern Super League before the international break. Johnson and Wright. Wright does well to win that ball back and still go out for a Calgary throw.
I think so far we've seen a pretty even half. Signa, both these teams able to get one away, but overall I don't think I would say anyone is really fully controlling the dynamic of the game. We're seeing both teams build up. mess up that final pass, start again. They're both disrupting each other's build-ups, but there are great moments on both sides as well.
Savitsky looking to strike. Into the arms of McCaslin, but the ball squeaked through to Jackie Savitsky, and that would have been something for the BC native to score against Vancouver.
I'm sure she would have loved that.
Haslin has to clear Lee shielding. Tackled awkwardly from Moore. Here is Savitsky, called into the Philippines national team for their upcoming friendlies as well. Their camps in Manila, so a whole lot of traveling going on for Jackie Savitsky, as well as Jessica Coward of the Vancouver Rise, both with the Philippines national team. They're playing June 3rd against Chinese Taipei. Storty shielding. Jordy Howard taken down, was looking for the call. Calgary wins the ball back.
It's another example of just a lot of defensive work being done just for it to be given up right after. There just isn't enough connection after they've done all that intense work and great defending for both sides, I would say, overall.
Spencer back to Taylor. Looking forward, read by Savitsky. Weller had to be careful. Moore edging Lee off the ball. Moore again looking for that long ball to Johnson. Battle played on. Robertson does well to win the ball back. Johnson. Doherty Howard was lurking at the top of the box. Here comes Savitsky. And the Wild patient. Moore was looking for a target, no one there.
One thing that Coach Bedford also mentioned to us is that calmness is in their DNA. That's what they want from this Calgary side. So I think that you're seeing it. You're seeing glimpses of it there, the patience, the calmness on the ball. They're not forcing things. Even Johnson's cross, you saw her look up before making that decision and attempted to find Doherty Howard's feet. She just wasn't able to get on the end of it. But a lot of patience and calmness from their side.
Stephanie Bukovic behind the scenes, just holding her leg. Teams will come in for hydration. 20-degree night in Burnaby, BC at Swangard Stadium. You're watching the NSL on CBC Gem, presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. It's a 1-1 game between the Vancouver Rise and Calgary Wilds.
I'm jealous of the weather, Sydney.
Yeah, Vancouver's had a nice stretch of weather lately, haven't they?
We're getting the rain that they're used to.
It's a role reversal. Let's take you back to the action and the goals earlier. Holly Ward getting the start going for the Rise. And then beautifully finding Mariah Lee for that finish.
Yeah, again, this is such a great individual effort by Ward. This is what she brings to this Vancouver side, that very front-footed mentality. Does well to get around Storty and then continues to make a great pass to find Lee, who does so well to place it in that corner.
And then Collie Johnson doesn't need any space or time to make this happen to tie things up.
Yeah, this is an awesome goal. She's able to get that turn off and then strike it. She doesn't need very much time to make something happen, and that was just proof of it.
So Mariah Lee, a goal in a second straight game in the 11th minute. And Collie Johnson in the 16th minute have the goals so far, 1-1 in this rematch between Calgary and Vancouver. Of course, Vancouver taking the inaugural match of this NSL season, 1-0 at BC Place.
Yes! Let's do it! Come.
Play back underway.
It's a great win by Moore to read that.
Wolfsma to Robertson. He's looking for Johnson. That pass by Green picked off. Lee, Longhurst, Pechersky playing in succession.
Move them out, quick! Find the sides!
Chang. Spencer and Ward. And the run from Sam Chang. The cross in, it's dangerous! Oh, Longhurst stoned by Bukovic!
Wow, what a great save by Bukovic. This is a great run by Sam Chang. This is one thing that she does well. She's very active in the final third. Rolfsma wasn't able to get a foot on that, leaving Longhurst wide open in the in front of the net. But Bukovic does well to come out big and not allow her to get that ball in the back of the net.
Bukovic just leaped off her line like a tiger to stop that shot from Longhurst.
Yeah, that was a very brave save. That was great by her. She really owned her box there. Longhurst is going to want that one back.
I'd say so. That was a good build-up play from Vancouver. 10 minutes remaining in this opening half.
But that buildup was just an example of what this team is capable of when they have great movement off the ball, when they play the ball fast.
Ward winning the foot race against Storty. Storty gets the foot in. And lucky for the Wild. Back into the hands of Bukovic.
Once again, seeing this battle between Storty and Ward play out. Ward attempts to take her on a second time, just wasn't able to get by her there. Storty doing well to hold her own.
Get ready, Jaden!
Savitsky turning. Over to Green.
Yes, much better! Good job! Good job!
Doherty Howard laying off to Moore. Moore looking for Thurton. Flicks it on. Spencer has to play back.
We're seeing Moore send those switch balls, and she's hitting them very well. But it is very difficult for a player like Thurton to be able to bring that down when Spencer is right next to her. There's not much you can create off of that. Again, talking about the quality of Spencer, it's very difficult to beat a player like her 1v1 in the best case scenario, let alone when the ball is in the air.
Doherty Howard laying the ball through to Steer, but McCaslin is there.
Taylor,
one of the youth development players in the match today. Emily Wong also getting the start. Jade Mitchell on the bench. So 3 Rise Academy players filling some voids right now. Of course, the injuries to Quinn and Nikki Stanton. They're expected to be back sometime soon. No timetable, but doing well. All out.
Where would you like it?
Tighter, Josie, a little bit to your right. Mariah, drop in.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, one by Johnson. Doherty Howard with the wind up.
I know, but that
Not too far off base there.
like I'll let you know when they're coming on, but I do need you to.
We're seeing the quality of Doherty Howard, but also Johnson, her physicality, her ability to win that. She finds Doherty Howard, who winds up. From the angle we were sitting, Signa, it definitely looked like that was going to be on frame. It was very close. It was a great attempt by Doherty Howard, excuse me.
There's got to be some leeway.
Spencer with a break up the left. Thurton tracking back and picked up by Savitsky.
Side, it's not by the net.
You're seeing Savitsky do so well to find those channels and those half spaces to be an outlet for her back line when there isn't many options, and she's able to get that back to the other center back and switch it to start again.
Green did well to get up the sideline, but the final pass was not there. Pechersky wins that ball back and then loses it to Doherty Howard. So a bit of ping pong going on between these two teams. About 5 minutes to play in this opening half.
You're seeing Lee drop below Pechersky in that instance. I would have loved to see her get a lot higher beyond that back line and allow Chang or Longhurst to get under Pechersky. There just has to be more numbers forward. She doesn't have very many numbers. She doesn't want to play backwards when she's winning it in those transitional moments.
Johnson chopping the ball across, and Chang able to get it out wide. Pechersky on it. Late tackle. And the foul called on Allie Green.
Yeah, it looks like she got there a little late. Pechersky landed quite hard. It's good to see that she got up.
Wolfsma pumping it in to Johnson. Robertson. The ball through. And offside on Danielle Steer.
It's a couple times now that we're seeing Steer offside when there's a great opportunity. I think that she really needs to time her runs better. She needs to pull away the opposite way than to crash that space that the ball's being fed into. There's just a little bit poor timing right now from her because that could have been a great opportunity. But Callie Johnson doing a great job at being able to bring that down. Great switch ball by Rolfsema to start that out.
Lower, Josie, lower, Josie.
Longhurst turning, winning the ball. Forward to Paczerski, who looks to the top of the box. Oh, just off the foot of Sam Chang. And out for a corner kick for Vancouver. So an opportunity late in this opening half, perhaps for the Rise to go ahead in this match.
Once again, Paczerski being the one to start that. She finds Sam Chang. It just takes a bit of an odd touch. You see Lee hanging on to Storty there a little bit. We saw Storty arguing with the ref that her shorts were being pulled. She was looking for a foul, but Ward also bombing forward to try to get on the end of that and winning a corner.
The corner in from Chang. Headed backward. And out for the goal kick.
This is a good delivery in by Chang. You see not that many Vancouver numbers in that area. Calgary was definitely outnumbering them in the front post area, getting up to be able to challenge that ball.
Square across to Doherty Howard. A nice first touch. And laying it off to Johnson. Wanting to go on a right foot. Savitsky and Thurton playing back and forth. Green pushed off the ball, and the ball is lost. Longhurst, nice little touch to free up some space, but Rolfsmo gets a touch on it as well. Lee out to Ward. Spencer.
We've seen Vancouver now a couple times catch Calgary in those transitional moments because they have so many numbers forward, and they're doing such a great job of possessing in Vancouver's half, but it takes one mistake for it to be right down your throat, and we're seeing Vancouver not have numbers forward though in those moments. There's not enough numbers forward. It's mostly a lone effort, and by the time the numbers do get forward, the play is broken up.
2 minutes of added time in this opening half. 1-1 between Vancouver Rise at home against Calgary Wild. Mariah Lee in the 11th minute. Holly Johnson in the 16th minute. A pretty evenly matched opening half. Savitsky to Doherty Howard. To Thurton. Thurton going at Spencer. Spencer closes her down, back to Doherty Howard. And the inside of the foot just off the mark.
Thurton does well there to cut it back onto her left foot to find Doherty Howard. Spencer's expecting her to go to that end line and cut it back, so she does well to find that cutback early, gets it to her left foot and finds Doherty Howard, who's able to get a strike off, just not able to connect with it well enough to get it on frame.
Taylor to Spencer. Spencer's foot getting on the shin of Doherty Howard. This is cue my time to say Doherty Howard, does she have shin guards on or not?
Yeah, those are more like ankle guards.
Yes, I know. I've been noticing it since the start of the season. I've been picking my moment, but there you go.
There are a lot of players that like that. I will say I know a lot of players that prefer that.
Doherty Howard on the ball, a late chance for the Wild. Looking to that far post, McCaslin falls on top of it.
Robertson's done really well to get on the end of these set pieces. You see her attempt to get around the Vancouver defender there and get that ball across. She was able to get a touch on it, but we've seen her get up for all of these set pieces so far.
Well, after 45 minutes at Swangard Stadium in Burnaby, BC, it's 1-1 between the Vancouver Rise FC and Calgary Wild FC. Halftime is just ahead on CBC Gem in this evenly matched rematch between Vancouver and Calgary. We'll see what the coaches have in store for us in this second half. Stay with us. More Northern Super League just ahead. NSL Halftime Show presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. It's a 1-1 game between Vancouver Rise FC and Calgary Wild FC. And let's take you through just some of those first half highlights because, let's face it, there was quite a few of them in this evenly matched match so far. And the first goal of the game came in the 11th minute. Holly Ward getting things going.
Yeah, I mean, I think we expected Holly Ward to be lighting up that left side. We spoke about her and Storty in that battle, the 1v1 battle that we were looking forward to. But again, just another look at it. She does so well to take Storty on, uses her pace. Storty thinks she potentially got her there, pushing her out of bounds, but Holly Ward sticks with it, very resilient, and finds Lee, who's waiting for that ball and places it perfectly into the bottom right corner.
16th minute, Calgary came back, and Collie Johnson does not need any time or space. We've said it a few times.
Yeah, no, she does so well to evade the pressure there that's coming from right. It's a little bit of a light pressure, but she does well to turn, and she strikes that with such confidence into that bottom left corner.
But Stephanie Bukovic had to be on her toes a couple times in this half.
Yeah, I think that Vancouver's doing a good job at creating opportunities, but on the flip side, so is Calgary. Right now, they're both sort of missing that final execution, whether it's the cross getting to someone's foot or being able to strike it on frame. Savitsky, you see here, trying from distance, which is awesome. You want your players to have that confidence to strike from distance.
Well, the save of the half had to be this one off of Josie Longhurst.
This is a big moment for Bukovic. This is a great run by Sam Chang. Great ball through by Ward. Pechersky does well to occupy, rolls him up, and leaves Longhurst wide open in front of the net, but Bukovic ultimately denying her that chance. Very well done by her.
Maggie Doherty Howard, the veteran on Calgary, closing out the half with a pretty good chance, and it's been a pretty even match so far, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that both these sides have had moments of great build-up. We've seen a lot of good combination play. We've seen great crosses. We've also seen some shots from distance. But right now, again, that execution inside the 18-yard box to be able to get more than one on frame hasn't been going either of their way, I would say. But overall, it's been an exciting matchup because there has not been a lack of chances, that is for sure.
Well, 45 minutes is gone, and we still have 45 to go. You're watching the Northern Super League on CBC Gem. Welcome back to the Northern Super League on CBC Gem. It's a 1-1 game between Vancouver and Calgary. One of the matches we're going to show you tomorrow, it's Ottawa versus Montreal, and Annie Petrillo had a chance to catch up with DB Pridham. She's had 3 goals so far this season.
Well, now it's time to get to our NSL moment of the week, where Ottawa Rapids beat the Vancouver Rise. And guess who's joining us now? Someone who got a brace in that game, Delaney Bay Pridham. How you doing? Welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm doing good. Nice to come off of a win.
Yeah, nice to come off of a win, nice to come off of a brace. And you are in that early Golden Boot lead. You have 3 goals through 4 games. But in that game in particular, like I mentioned, 2 goals, not a bad day at work for you. How are you feeling after that performance?
Yeah, I'm really proud of our team. And, we worked a lot on in the game what we've been wanting to work on. And that's keeping the ball, having a lot of passes between the team and having a lot of attacks. We've been doing a lot of crossing and finishing, and I had 2 great assists, and I just put it in.
All right. Well, you guys have played 4 games. Halifax are the only ones as well who have played 4. Everyone else has played 5. So yes, you're sitting second in the table, but technically a game in hand on a lot of other teams around you. What's clicking right now for this squad?
I would say our chemistry, leading in and going into preseason, our team just clicked really well off the field, and that only grows to the connection on the field. Our coaches have a lot of attention to chemistry and having that off the field. So we did a lot of team activities leading into the season, and that has really helped us have that connection and, power and fight for each other on the field. And I think obviously with the first few games, it takes some time for it to get into motion. And I think it finally has really connected, and we have a high ceiling and we want to get there and break through. And in the last game we're getting closer and we're improving over every game, and we're really happy about that.
I don't know if this is a Canadian thing, but when a player gets 2 goals in any sport, we're like, hat trick, come on, let's see if we could get the hat trick. Yeah. Is that something on your brain too? Were you thinking that during the game?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it crosses your mind, but then again, you're staying in the moment and just trying to take advantage of every opportunity that you have. Obviously, it would have been nice to have a hat trick, but Julia had an amazing goal, and we got 3 goals, and that was great to be leading in that game 3-0. But yeah, obviously it would have been great to have a hat trick, but I'm happy with my performance and, keeping the momentum going.
I'm always curious to know, when I see a different kind of goal celebration, what the meaning is behind it. Because I think you've got something going with your hands here. What is the meaning behind? Yeah.
DB. All right, it's DB.
Oh, it's your initials.
Yeah. It's reverse. It's hard to show right now because I'm on the. Yeah. Yeah, so it's reverse. It was funny. After before going into the game against Vancouver, my teammate Liv was like, "Hey, when you score, I'm going to be behind you and I'm going to do it too." So there's a few photos of like me doing it and she's in the back like doing it as well.
Well, I like it. It's those types of goal celebrations that even the fans can do right back at you. But now I know what it means. It's your initials. I like that. A lot of talk, obviously, in the beginning when it came to Ottawa was just the veteran presence of Desiree Scott. And we know that the Canadian women do have a game coming up as well against Haiti. We know that there's going to be like a send-off celebration as well for Desiree. And just being around the game for as long as she has, what has it been like having her on the team, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch too?
Yeah, I mean, there's no words to describe like how much of an amazing person she is. I mean, it's pretty apparent how much she inspires so many people. And she's just the glue of our team, you know, from the moment she arrived. She's so magnetic. Her energy is just like, it's an amazing balance between like energy, but also calmness. And I think her ability to connect to every player and make everyone feel comfortable to come and talk to her and get advice from her. And she's just like such an amazing role model. And it's been truly inspiring to be able to play with her. And I can say that for the rest of my teammates that we're just like so proud that she came to this team. So, you know, it's very important to have that role model on a team to just, you know, have that glue and that rock on the team. So, you know, it's been great.
Well, you use the word inspire. And speaking of inspiration, you seem to be inspired to design. And scrolling through your Instagram, I've seen some of the outfits that you made. You had these really cool jeans that you made for yourself. And I believe when you were playing in Sweden, you got to design or be part of a design of one of the jerseys.
Yeah, that's
right?
correct.
So that was pretty cool. Where did this, I guess, desire come from to just kind of want to be involved in some sort of fashion?
Yeah, well, I've always been into art since I was young. Always had that like creative outlet. My mom's an interior designer. She's very into design and fashion as well. And I think I've just had that eye for it because of her. And you know, when I was a freshman in university, one of my teammates was like, "Hey, you know, these shoes, they're kind of run down. Like, do you want to paint them?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And then I did it and people loved it. And then other people wanted stuff. And then it kind of became like from a hobby to, you know, a side business. And it popped off and people love it. And, you know, it's been a way for me to have that balanced lifestyle outside of soccer, you know, to have that, you know, side thing to keep my mind away from, you know, soccer, because it's always, you know, it's always running. So it's that balance, and it's a way for me to express myself off the field as well, and a way for me to use my creativity off the field. Mm-hmm. So I did it for one of my teammates for her shorts. I don't know if you saw Melissa Dagenes. She was wearing jean shorts, and I painted those. And more designs to come in the game day fits for sure.
Well, I love hearing that stuff because, and I was going to ask if any of your teammates have been asking for any gear. Clearly they already have, because sometimes you find out these cool things. There's somebody on the team who designs clothes for people. There's somebody on the team who provides the haircuts. And so you seem to be the fashion designer for everybody right now.
Yeah. And our coach actually wears Nikes that I designed. I don't know if you can see them when she's on the field. They have like a rapid wave on the side that I painted her Nikes. And then another team did some embroidery for her pants too. And I have a few lined up. I want some, so it's coming.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to talk after the show because I feel like I'm going to need some gear here. It's been a blast, DB. Yeah. Appreciate you having you on. Good luck the rest of the way. You're scoring goals. The team's looking good. And we can't wait to keep watching what you can do.
Thanks. I appreciate you guys having me. Have a good one.
The final match for Week 6 is tomorrow. It's the Ottawa Rapid and DB Pridham back at it against the Montreal Roses, trying to stop a 2-game slide. Tomorrow from TD Place, 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And Jess and I will be back with you for that one. Well, that wraps up the NSL halftime show presented by BMO. We're getting set for the second half at Burnaby, BC Swangard Stadium. Teams have taken the pitch in this 1-all match, very evenly paced so far. And we'll see if there's any changes to either side. As Morgan McCaslin puts those gloves back on. Had to be busy off her line in that opening half. So Jess DiFilippo coming into the match for Vancouver Rise. Give them some presence in the box. Of course, you remember her goal, the last second goal against AFC Toronto in that exciting match. But interestingly that she comes in for Jalen Wright. So I'm wondering for a formation change here, Jess.
They actually made this exact change in the last matchup. They moved Pechersky back into Jalen Wright's spot and had, as we see her here, so she actually drops back into that right fullback spot. But I had the exact same thought in the last matchup. There must be a change here in formation, but no. Pechersky showing her versatility and being able to slide into that right back role.
DiFilippo's first touch a little off, and here comes Thurton. Thurton to Johnson, going 1v1 on Pechersky. Nice foot in there, nice tackle.
We spoke about players stepping up, Signa, and especially in the absence of a player like Quinn and a player like Stanton. Those are two huge roles to fill. And I think as much as we spoke about a Longhurst and a Chang really sliding into that role specifically, we also have a player like Pechersky who's been coming alive on the flank. We're seeing her slide in to that fullback role and do it seamlessly and do very well. I think that even just her ability to tackle Johnson there and the timing of that tackle shows the quality of a player that she is and her IQ of the game.
And Lydia Bedford aware of a player like Pechersky bombing down that right side, and Anya Heiner-Moller saying Pechersky's the type of player that you can play anywhere on the pitch. So what a flexibility it is to have a player like that in your lineup.
And with the ability to overload with a player like Lee on that flank. We know that we've seen Vancouver do so well on the flank, specifically on the left side with Ward, but having a powerhouse like Lee, as well as Pechersky with her craftiness and her pace as well, can cause a lot of problems for this Calgary backline.
Rolfsma, big swing over to Storty. Longhurst wins that. And Ward is going up 1v1 versus Michaela Moore. Remember this from game one, where Moore gave up a penalty kick to Quinn. The shot blocked by Rolfsma. Almost deja vu there.
Ward doesn't leave you much of a chance or a decision to not take her down because of the pace that she comes at you with. Moore does well to keep her footing, but still Ward being able to get that shot off and create something dangerous and get a corner kick out of it.
So an early corner. Sam Chang on the ball. Her delivery has been nice so far. Going near post. Moore got a header on it. Took a double deflection, so out for a goal kick.
This is another great ball in. It seems that she has been hitting it short to that front post. There isn't enough runners there, I would say. Moore did well to win that initial ball. You saw DiFilippo coming in behind her. We know that she's a big target for them. But yeah, I just don't think that there's enough numbers crashing there. We've seen it twice now that Calgary was able to win that ball before Vancouver was able to get there.
Spencer turning back. Chloe Taylor and Shannon Weller. Weller leading all players in the NSL in touches and passes. Ooh, that's a late tackle by Jess DiFilippo.
One thing that Vancouver has also been struggling with these past few games is that decision making in the back line and giving that ball away. That's definitely a late tackle. Absolutely a great call by the referee. It looks like she might be pulling out a card for
DiFilippo, yes, Anne-Marie Canul deciding that number 11, the substitute, will go into the books.
I got distracted by the tackle, but just to continue my thought, one thing that Vancouver has been struggling with is that build-up when they are making a decision from their two center backs. They're giving away the ball too easily, and that is where those transitional moments are going to come back to hurt you, and especially against a team like Calgary that we've seen, they do have a lot of quality up there.
Doherty Howard on the set piece again. Spencer does well to head that away. Ooh. Ward got that right in the chops.
Yeah, that takes a minute to recover from. It does not feel nice.
Gets the eyes watering a little bit. Seems okay.
You always got to play it off like it didn't hurt that much, but it did. It always does.
Spencer's done a nice job neutralizing Thurton, although they haven't had a lot of service on that right side, but so far Thurton has been contained in this match.
I'd love to see Storty get up a little more and get that overload for them on the flanks. I think between her and Thurton, it would cause a lot of problems for Spencer, but also just the back line as a whole.
Howard picked off. There's Holly Ward darting forward. DiFilippo looking to continue her run. She does. She'll save that. Back to Chang. The cross in. Handled and kicked away.
I would have loved to see Holly Ward look up and recognize that Lee was making a much better run. DiFilippo did a good job to pull defenders away by making that diagonal run. I'm not sure she really wanted the ball. That wasn't the point of the run, but Holly Ward finds her instead. But I think that if she was able to switch that to Lee, she was potentially going to be on a clear-cut breakaway.
A little cause for holding the breath there. Kayla Moore's pass a little soft, but Rolfsma there to sweep it up. Savitsky finding Storty. Now Thurton holding her line. Thurton going to far post. The header just deflected off the leg of Taylor.
There's one thing, Signa, to aimlessly send a ball in the box, and there's another thing to do what Thurton does time and time again. Is she's so great at picking out runners. You see her look up, especially at her young age, to be able to recognize it time and time again based on her positioning of where she is in the box, whether she's at end line, whether she's in the middle of the box or she's at the top of the 18. She finds a perfectly weighted pass and she finds runners. Callie Johnson doing a great job to be able to get up there. Vancouver very lucky that they were able to get something on it and deflect it out away from goal.
Moore down on the pitch with her boot off.
Looks like there's no injury. She's running off.
Running pretty
rapidly
gingerly.
off.
We'll need Moore back on the pitch as soon as possible. If you're Vancouver, you probably want to pump this ball forward pretty quickly. Down one of their center backs. And Storty able to tackle Ward and earn the throw in. Moore getting more attention.
Coach Bedford yelling to hold their shape. And in this moment, when you are a man down, you have to be able to stay compact and not allow Vancouver to break you down.
Pechersky had a tough touch there, but it was a tougher tackle. And she earns the call. Snowing dandelions out there. All the players are trying to keep them out of their mouths.
Yeah, she catches her on the follow through there. It looks like her ankle wasn't locked well in the air.
Michaela Moore still on the sidelines getting treatment right now. For the Calgary Wild. Calgary managing to push Vancouver back in their end. Taylor, Spencer. Try to push it forward to Chang, and it'll go out of touch and out for a goal kick.
It's great that there's patience from the Vancouver side, except when you're trying to break down someone who's very compact, you need to move the ball a lot quicker to be able to pull people out of their positioning. There's just not enough urgency from them when they are a man up.
Kayla Moore back on the pitch. And Calgary moving forward. Weller will get to that through ball. Back to McCaslin. Weller pressured. Savitsky on it. Storty looking for Steer. Ooh, some confusion there. He managed to get out of it.
Yeah, it's in those moments you don't want to kick the ball back from where it just came from. You need to switch it and get it out of that pressure. There was a lot of pressure on that right side. Spencer thankfully was able to deal with that like the veteran that she is, but definitely a dangerous spot to put her in.
Two teams that do like to play out of the back. The league statistics show that between Moore and Rolfsma, and Weller being among the most passes and most touches. Ooh, McCaslin right on the top of her box.
You're seeing DiFilippo do a good job at screening Savitsky, not allowing her to find the ball. We know that Savitsky's movement off the ball and finding those half spaces in those channels is so great to be an outlet. And Jess DiFilippo is showing her quality and her IQ by just standing right in front of her, not allowing her to get away and find the ball.
Another long switching ball. Thurton had to head that back. Thought maybe she could have brought that down.
Probably would have played out better if she was able to control that with her chest and bring it down to face forward, but it happens sometimes when the ball is coming at you high and fast, you make that kind of decision.
Holly Ward's definitely not going to take that throw. The cast should be coming off soon, she said. All nearly through. Ward, of course, broke that finger in that opening game against Calgary, where she helped win that penalty. Taken by Quinn, the first goal in NSL history. Thurton. Robertson. Robertson driving the cross to the far post. Headed away by
those are the opportunities I was speaking about. You want players to make those overlapping runs, cause those overloads. It was Robertson in this case who's breaking the line and doing a good job at creating that overload with Thurton. But I think that would be something that works out well for them in this half if they're trying to get on the board again.
Nice turn and a nice outlet to Paczerski. Does she have a target? Running onto it is Ward. In pursuit is Storty. And it'll go out for a goal kick.
I believe that was Wong that did well to turn there and face forward. Paczerski sending a great ball in. Holly Ward getting on her horse and trying to make something happen there. I think that might have been a corner. I think the referee might have got that one wrong.
We have the luck of replay where we are.
This is true.
Storty just past the foot of Thurton. Spencer will go back to McCaslin, who's started every match for Vancouver Rise this season. Their number one goalie. We've seen some teams platoon a little bit, but most teams have their number one.
Savitsky once again finding the ball and acting as that outlet to help her team out of pressure.
Moore looking forward, trying to play over top to Thurton. Pass is just a little bit off right now for both teams. Calgary taking advantage of a mistake. Johnson, left foot this time, into the hands of McCaslin. Robertson, Savitsky, Doherty Howard. Doherty Howard, the left foot! Oh, she was looking for that far post.
You're seeing that front-footed mentality from this Calgary side. They're not allowing Vancouver out. They're trying from distance. Callie Johnson with a nice strike just before this. Now Doherty Howard taking her time and taking the space that's given to her and striking it, being able to win a corner kick.
Substitution for the Vancouver Rise. Josie Longhurst coming out, and into the game will be Ariel Young. Young, former Canadian Youth International. See some shifting and positioning as well with that substitution. Young, fullback, so short corner. Doherty Howard on the ground, no one is there. Moore out to Doherty Howard, swinging that ball in. Handled.
What's the other?
We spoke about the focus of Vancouver needing to defend well in the box this matchup, so this is where they're able to show that they need to clear this out of danger.
Green this time on the corner. Savitsky gets it to Moore. To Doherty Howard again. Just the outside of the foot to Thurton, and Chang was forced to slide tackle that out of bounds.
sure Coach Bedford is pleased with the corner kicks that they've been getting back to back. She mentioned to us, as much as you're not just looking to win set pieces, they are a team that loves to have them because we've seen them capitalize when they do have those opportunities given.
So 2 substitutions for Calgary right now. Christy Gray coming into the match. And Madison Wilson also coming into the match. Danielle Steer coming out. Janaea Robertson out. Corner kick for Calgary. Far post this time. Some fresh legs for both teams in this second half. And remember, we're keeping an eye on the Vancouver Rise. This is match number 4 in 2 weeks. So far, so good. 1-1 between these two teams. Second meeting between the clubs of the season. Top to McCaslin. If you're just joining us, you're watching the Northern Super League presented by BMO, the official bank of the NSL. 1-1 game between Vancouver and Calgary. Chersky.
You spoke about the shift of what we were going to see when Ariel Young came in. It actually looks like Taylor stepped up into the midfield and Young is taking her spot in that back line as a center back.
Doherty Howard popping over top. Not out of trouble, Thurton! Didn't get all of it, and lucky for Vancouver she didn't because there was a wide open cage for Sarita Thurton.
Yeah, this is a dangerous opportunity. Spencer clears that right to Thurton's foot. McCaslin not in the best positioning, to be honest with you, but I think Thurton has to do better with that. It looks like she might have overthought it. She was probably shocked that it landed at her foot, as it did, and her being completely wide open, but she does need to be better there because those are the moments that are going to change the game. That could have been a 2-1 right there.
Well, Calgary is lurking right now. More of the pressure in the second half and certainly had their share of corner kicks. Here comes Doherty Howard with another. Far post, headed away. Tackled by Spencer.
Shows time and time again in her timing of when to tackle, when to step in, when to stay. Her veteran status definitely shows in her experience and just how much quality she brings to this Vancouver side.
12 seasons in the NWSL before coming to the NSL this season. Jasmine Spencer. Or go all the way back to Bukovic. Moore looking over top again, read by Weller. Doherty Howard. Cross in, touched back by Madison Wilson, but Christy Gray couldn't get it to it. Bukovic will safely put that out of bounds. With Mariah Lee looking for her second of the match. Third time to look forward. Gets by Spencer, but nice recovery.
No advantage there for third. She got a little caught up beforehand.
So free kick for Calgary. 20 minutes to play in the match. Looking for a go-ahead goal. Headed away strongly by DiFilippo.
Vancouver's doing a good job at denying Calgary that first ball off of these set pieces. We've seen DiFilippo win quite a few of them, but they have a lot of numbers jumping up to challenge that.
Third. Savitsky, third. Looking for the handball off of Ward. Ward finds Mariah Lee. Vancouver trying to get their numbers forward.
We saw that in the first half quite a bit in those transitional moments, not enough numbers getting forward. And again, that was another example. There's just not enough urgency from the other players to get forward and be matched up with Lee and give her an option to be able to break that line. There's just a lack of urgency getting forward with her and providing those options to create something dangerous.
Just off the foot of Storty. Two more substitutions coming into the match for the Vancouver Rise. Mariah Lee coming out of the match. Nice shift today from Mariah Lee with Vancouver Rise's goal. Goals in back-to-back matches. And coming in is Jade Mitchell, a youth development contract player, as well as Jessica Cowart. Team's getting some hydration here, 20-degree day. Beautiful evening in Burnaby, BC. Just over 15 minutes left to play in the match, but here's how we got to this point. 11th minute, it was Holly Ward doing the work and Mariah Lee doing the finishing.
Yeah, you see her quality in Mariah Lee to be able to recognize, to just take a few steps back there. We know that Holly Ward is so capable of this 1v1. She loves to take people on all day, but there's that little step back from Lee to get that ball, create that space for herself. And then when you shift it to the Calgary side, Johnson doing so well in that tight space, recognizing that there's not enough pressure on her. So she's going to turn there. She does so well to do it. Right's just too far off of her. And she strikes that with so much confidence and poise at the top of the 18 to place that in the back of the net and get her team on the board.
Gives Johnson 3 goals on the season. She's now tied for that Golden Boot lead, 3 goals.
That's a fun race. I'm really curious to see how that ends.
Yeah, really though. Esther Okoronkwo, DB Pridham, and now Collie Johnson, adding her name to the list. 3 goals apiece. Ball fired up over top. Wolfsma with a nifty move to get it forward to Johnson. Johnson does well to hold up play there. Back to Rolfsma. Thurton. Well defended by Spencer. And Vancouver pushing forward. The through ball, not anyone there to chase it down.
Once again, the lack of urgency in those runs. You want the movement from your front three, someone being able to break that line. You saw DiFilippo sort of casually jogging and didn't break that line. You need your forwards to have that intense mentality and just run, make those runs, create opportunities for the player with the ball.
The ball manages to get through to Thurton. She's looking for someone, make a run. Thurton finding the outside, but that's offside, Johnson.
Thurton took a little bit too much time there on the ball. She had Johnson earlier. She also had, I'm not too sure who it was, making that run in the middle there. But she could have potentially played this a lot earlier. Her teammates are now offside by the time she decides what to do with it. Yeah, it just has to be better decision making from her quicker. It was the right decision, but it has to be made quicker and recognized earlier. Also noticed the ball's been in the air a lot tonight for two teams that love to possess and really control the dynamic, where we're seeing them force a little bit too much, sending a lot of aerial balls to their teammates, and it's not creating a lot for either side. It's sort of causing the play to be disrupted by both teams on both ends. So would love someone to just really take control and change the rhythm of this game to that possession-oriented style that we know both these teams love to play.
Overlapping run, Green, the cross in. Weller handles that. Johnson back to Rolfsma. Moore. Doherty Howard. Ball given away. Howard playing a little higher than we're used to seeing. Playing almost in that defensive midfield role. So a new position for Cowart this season. Ooh, they did not see each other. Chersky.
Ready, Claw!
Ball crossed in. Skipped across Ward's body. Storty was out of position. That could have been an opportunity.
Yeah, she was out of position and she mistimed that. It could have been very dangerous had that landed on Holly Ward's chest as she was trying to get there.
Moore gets out of trouble there. They were trying to press, Vancouver was, with some of those youngsters up front.
The challenge of being in a press is making sure that you're all on the same page. You see them holding in their shape and trying to pick those moments for that one striker to step up and apply the pressure. But if one goes, you sort of all have to go. You all have to be on that front foot. And right now it's too easy because there's a disconnect in when to go and when to stay. And Calgary is breaking Vancouver down because of that hesitation that's coming from the teammates around the player that's initiating the press.
Third. Has to turn back. Storty. Long looping cross. Handled well by McCaslin. Ten minutes to play in this 1-1 game. And will there be a go-ahead goal?
Seen Calgary find a bit more success building out of the back here to create some dangerous opportunities. They just haven't been able to get on the end of it with that final pass or that final cross right now. But they have been doing well to break Vancouver's press and create some stuff.
Thurton finds Doherty Howard, slips it through to Johnson. Wasn't on her preferred right foot, turns back to Doherty Howard.
Doherty Howard showing her ability to evade that pressure.
Wilson's header easily picked up by McCaslin.
It's a brave attempt to head the ball from that far out when there's not enough power behind the ball that's coming into your head. You know you're not going to be able to redirect that and really get it on frame. As we saw, it sort of just rolled to McCaslin, who had no problem with it. Once again, Spencer doing well to break up the rhythm of Thurton and not allow her to get on that ball.
Couple substitutions. Vancouver will bring in Nedya Savon. And Kaylee Books coming into the game for Calgary. 3 Thurton also coming out of the game for Tegan Stewart. So several changes in here. Hope you're keeping track at home. Jess DiFilippo, who was a second half substitution coming out for Nedya Sawan, so not sure if DiFilippo picked up a knock or that's a So we'll see if all of those substitutions doesn't break up the flow of this game, which has been pretty exciting the first 45 minutes. Second half a little slower. There's Nedya Sawan, fresh off the bench. Seven minutes and change to play. Johnson was looking to make a pass. Paczerski broke it up, and Johnson will be called for the foul.
Yeah, one thing about Johnson is she's going to go into every tackle. She loves the physicality of the game, but she gets the best of Paczerski there, who lands actually quite hard. It looks like she might have cramped up a bit on that landing.
Vancouver in front of their fans at Swangard Stadium would love a second straight win against Calgary, but they need to find something here in the final 7 minutes. Storty let that run, but chasing it down was Young. Young long throw in the box, headed away by Savitsky.
Hey, Ricky, reset.
Rise FC would like to wish a very happy 4th birthday to Zoe.
Wolfsma up over top. Ball bouncing around, both teams trying to get it on the turf. Stewart. Tackled by Taylor.
Seen a whole lot of back and forth, that they're being depossessed, that just to repossess it and back and forth again. Just would love someone to calm the ball down. We see Calgary this half doing a better job at it and trying to dominate that possession aspect of the game and keep the ball on the turf, but it's just, again, hasn't been great overall from that. I think that there's, again, a lot of breakup in the play, not a whole lot of passes being strung together, and when they are, that final execution in the final third is lacking.
Too early was the run by Maddie Wilson. Anya Heiner-Moller, her team on this 4th game in 2 weeks, hanging in right now, but wouldn't they love to have the 3 points to take sole possession of first place in the standings. They still have time. Machursky pushed off the ball by Johnson, and Johnson will probably get booked here, and indeed does.
Machursky's ability to run at pace as well is what causes and leaves defenders with very little room to, not foul you. You have to sort of foul her to get her down because she will get away from you. But Callie Johnson, being booked for multiple, I think that was for multiple fouls. It was just a build-up there by that point.
Chloe Taylor on this ball. Pops it in, headed away. Savitsky gets a foot on it just to get it out of trouble. And there's Stewart. Stewart, the 17-year-old, with a run. Stewart with the run, beats Taylor, and the shot! Oh, it's off the post! What an opportunity that was for the teenager from the Calgary Wild. And out the other way, here comes Holly Ward. Things are picking up in these final minutes. Ward undresses Storty. Ward with a move past Moore, and the shot off the post again. What a sequence, Jess.
Yeah, these transitional moments are what make the game so exciting. For Stewart, what a big individual effort from her. It was a great recognition as well to run across the Vancouver defender and not allow them to cut off her lane to that net. Unfortunately, she hits the post, and then Ward does so well to get that ball back and run straight down the other side. Beats Storty, beats Moore, and hits it off the post, but both great individual efforts from Stewart and Ward.
Some great action in these final minutes. Spencer settling things down to Weller. Powers. Ball wide to Ward. Ward Off the shin of Storty. Almost got in trouble there. The fans wanted a call.
These are the moments you have to be mindful of what's happening.
Well, we've seen some chances. Look at this one from Tegan Stewart.
Again, such a great individual effort. She uses her pace and she cuts right across Taylor, giving her a great shot on goal. She just wasn't able to keep that away and was able and hit the post. But then on the opposite side, you see Ward, again, her ability to go 1v1. She goes around Storty like nothing and then goes to beat Moore as well, who isn't able to find her footing, and she hits the post as well. That could have ended the game for either side.
Swings on both sides. Christy Gray moving forward. The cross, not where it needed to be. 4 minutes of added time. Still some time here, folks.
The consistency and the quality and the decision making in these final moments is huge. In those moments where you see Christy Gray getting the opportunity to get the ball in, it has to be better.
Doherty Howard tried to have a goal from distance, but just on the inside of the post, McCaslin lets that ride and maybe take some deep breaths here. The fans spurring on the rise. Go, Rise, go! The Wild have given them all they can handle today. Ball's lobbing back and forth. Taylor tried to push it wide. Storty's on it. No one up the pitch for Calgary, though. And Young will turn around with ease. Wilson with some good pressure. Wilson's alone. Wilson, does she have anybody there? Well, Young had to have a timely tackle just in case that got across, because Holly Johnson was there, maybe perhaps for her second of the game.
Yeah, you see Wilson looking up to find someone in the box, but this is such a great defensive effort by Ariel Young, puts her body on the line. But for Wilson, she's able to get that corner kick now, an opportunity to potentially put this game away.
2 minutes and change left in added time in this match. 1-1. And corner is not what the Wild would have wanted at this stage of the game. Does Vancouver have something up their sleeves in this final few moments of the game? Tegan Stewart. Another penetrating run forward to Gray. Gray looking to get by Spencer. You're not going to get by Spencer easily. And Spencer will earn a free kick.
For a player that we've seen play 90 minutes every single
match,
she never lacks energy or fight. She just constantly puts her body on the line. The 1v1 battles going forward, she loves to win them, and when you are going against her, she's not going down without a fight.
She says she loves the 1v1 duels. Jasmine Spencer does. Young, long free kick, looking for Sawan. Sawan wins it back. Right to the foot of Moore, who's looking over top. Chersky heads it, but right to Doherty Howard. Doherty Howard again looking for that shot from distance. The veteran wanting one in this game.
I love the confidence, but I also think there are moments to strike that from distance. that wasn't necessarily the best option. She potentially could have found a teammate and tried to build up a little further, but at the same time, you're in these final moments. I appreciate the confidence to try it.
Doherty Howard does well to get out of trouble. And the give and go with Books and taken down.
This is good little combination play between Doherty Howard and Books, who does well to get forward. Pechersky coming right through her. Now this is a dangerous opportunity for Calgary in these final moments. We know they are great on set pieces. We've seen them score time and time again. And when Doherty Howard steps over that ball, you never know what's going to happen.
Pechersky going in the books of Anne-Marie Cano, the referee today. And we're well into added time, so this might be the last opportunity for either team in this match. Doherty Howard on the ball. One final chance for the Calgary Wild to get revenge for that first loss of the season against Vancouver. And could it come here? Ball driven into that far post. Too far. And that'll be the match. That was the final chance. So it'll go down in the books as a draw. 1-all between the Vancouver Rise and Calgary Wild.
I think that's a pretty fitting score, Signa. We saw both sides create a lot of opportunities. They weren't able to capitalize on them, but there was some great build-up. I would have loved to see them settle the game a little more, but overall, I think it was a competitive matchup. You saw that both these teams wanted it. Very evenly matched.
Mariah Lee with the goal for the Vancouver Rise in the 11th minute. Followed up 5 minutes later by Collie Johnson's equalizer. We saw a couple posts. We saw a big save from Stephanie Bukovic that could have made it 2-1 for the Rise early on, but in the end, a 1-all draw. Tegan Stewart, with that post chance in the second half. Great individual effort. So as the teams shake hands here in a well-fought draw, let's take a look at the statistics for today's match. And again, evenly matched in some respects, but maybe the Calgary Wild a little bit of an advantage in terms of shots and on target.
Yeah, I think they had a bit more purpose behind their possession, specifically in the second half. I think in the first half it was very evenly split. We saw both teams creating a lot. In the second half, there was a lot of build-up, but just have it broken down by the opponent, whether that was Vancouver building up or Calgary building up. The ball was being kicked a lot in aerial challenges, but I think that, again, overall, Calgary might have dominated in the sense of purposeful possession in the second half, but it was very evenly matched. Vancouver also created a lot of dangerous chances.
Top goal scorers on the season. Well, look at that. The race for the Golden Boot. It's early, we know, but Collie Johnson putting her name up there with her third goal of the season, tying Esther Okoronkwo and DB Pridham, who will have another opportunity to put her name on the score sheet tomorrow as they take on the Montreal Roses. Well, Jess, just a final thought from you on today's match.
I think it was intense. I think that you saw both of these teams wanted it. So many exciting opportunities, and that's what you love to see when you are watching a soccer game. The teams really going at it. But again, would have just loved to see one of these sides settle the ball and play that possession-oriented style that we know they both love to play. And overall, very exciting match. Just lacking a little bit of clinicalness in that final third, but exciting to watch, and it was very intense from both ends.
Well, thanks for joining us for NSL Soccer presented by BMO, the official bank of the Northern Super League. I'm Signa Butler alongside Jess Lisi and our crew. Thanks for watching us today on CBC Gem, and we'll see you next time.